Good day, my dear students. You're welcome once again to our class on air. Remember, this class has been organized by University Press PLC, publishers of very many high-quality international books and textbooks too, including the one that you are familiar with, the new Oxford Secondary English course for junior secondary schools, books 1, 2, and then 3 too. Of course, it's also for the senior too. You also have those of the senior secondary schools too. Remember that in one of our programs we were discussing something about vocabulary development, which is actually a major part of the Becker examinations, basic education certificate examinations. And we did discover that we need to increase the word that we use in terms of all these human endeavors. We're not supposed to go into the jargons, but in terms of the ordinary words that have been used, we are supposed to be familiar with them. And many of these are treated in the new Oxford Secondary English course for junior secondary schools and for books 1, 2, and 3 are there. Remember we discussed a few things about them in one of our programs. Remember we did say that vocabulary means words. And of course, we need certain words which are used in certain human endeavors. I give you an example of the fact that you cannot just say, we saw a group of people in a room. A man was talking to them. When you're talking about the school system, you will say you saw some students or pupils, students in secondary school or pupils in the primary school, in a classroom, not just a room, and then with a teacher teaching them, not talking to them. Those are the appropriate teacher, teaching, classroom, students, primary. Those are the appropriate words or registers for the school system. So also we have registers for other human endeavors. We consider a few of them in that lesson, like the farming one, like the building, like air transport, which we discovered, and all these are contained in the New Oxford Secondary English course for junior secondary school, books 1, 2, 3. We're going to continue in that line today. Today we are looking at another area, that is the road transport. This road transport has been, the one that I have here has been taken from GS1 textbook, and I have it on pages, you can see it here, on pages 49, and then the exercises that I have, page 49 here, then I have the exercises on pages 58 and 59. You can see the beautiful picture of a car there for the road transport. Now, for road transport, generally this vocabulary development is found in increase your word power in every unit, in almost every unit of the books we are referring to. We talk about vehicles, and talk about car, bus, lorry, truck, van, and so on and so forth, which convey people and goods from one place to another. So we know that we cannot afford to stay in our place all the days of our lives. And of course, we also need to cannot carry all our loads on our heads. We therefore need the size of vehicles to transport our goods and to move us from one place to another. And we need to be familiar with these simple parts of even the vehicle or a car or a bus. And so that when we are talking, we don't say, like somebody, like the mechanic apprentice will say, I want to repair the bumper. Is it bumper? It is supposed to be bumper. That is appropriate. It's a simple thing, the bumper. That I have it here. An apprentice mechanic was once describing the parts of a motor car for somebody, and the person did not understand what he was saying. This was because he did not know the correct names of the parts. For example, he said bumper instead of what? Bumper. Pointer instead of trafficator. We therefore need to identify some of the parts of the motor car. In other words, the simple ones, not the specialized one, not the expert one, but the simple one which we need to be familiar with in the car. For example, look at the picture of the motor car in this unit. We have looked at the picture there. We've seen the picture on the first page. We see that we have many of the parts. Let's identify a few of them, just a few of them, which are very common. Can you see this one? You have the bonnet, which is this one. You have the windscreen, the one that you have in front. You also have the interior mirror, which is used by the driver to look at the things happening at the back. You also have the steering wheel, not the steering wheel, the one that you use to control the vehicle. You have the boot of the car, boot, not booth, boot of the car, where you put in your luggage. You have the tire. You have the door handles, this one pointing to this one. You have the side mirror, this one, not just a mirror, side mirror. You have the wheel. Many of you say it is the tire. It is the wheel. And then, of course, you will have the battery in the car itself, which is placed here. And then you have the bumper, and then you have the number plate, not plate number, number plate. That's why you have it now here. You have the trafficators, the one that you call the pointer. We call it pointer. Of course, you have the engine, which is right inside the bonnet. Then you have the headlamp. The headlamp is there. And then you have a radiator. Radiator is the one that has water inside it, which cools the engine. You have the bonnet, as I said. You have windscreen. You have also the interior rear mirror. Those are just simple parts of a car, which we are supposed to be familiar with. We see cars every day. We see buses. We see we even board buses every day. We see cars. We see vehicles every day. So we need to know the simple parts. These are not the technical ones. If I'm a mechanic, I will talk about some other things there, which are the carburetor. I will talk about so many other things. But we need the simple one, which we should be familiar with, which is also in our curriculum. We should be familiar with, and that's why we need to be not only seeing cars, boarding cars, but knowing what you have there. Now let's look at a few things connected with. Look at some people who are connected with. I've shown you the engine, the chassis, accelerator, radiator, foot brake, hand brake, steering wheel, gears, not gear, gears, windscreen in front. You have the boot, you have the bonnet, you have the number plate, you have the battery, you have the ignition key, you have the trafficator, you have the headlamp, you have the side mirror, rear lights, the one at the back, interior rear mirror, you also have that one too. Tires, you have spare tire, not extra tire. You just say extra tire. It's supposed to be spare tire. That's the correct register, correct name. Some people who are connected with road transport include traffic police, traffic warden, driver, passenger, motorist, mechanic, panel beater, and so on and so forth. These are simple things. Some places connected with road transport are major road, minor road, expressway, junction, crossroads, pedestrian crossing, roundabout, lorry park, bus station, garage, toll gate, booth, and so on and so forth. Toll gate or toll booth. Sometimes actually with road transport include drive. When you are driving, then accelerate, you press the accelerator, you brake, you reverse. You remember you don't reverse back, which is very popular. You say reverse back. Can you reverse forward? It is always reverse. Steer, then you speeding. Remember we said there's no overspeeding. It's always speeding. Keep within the speed limit. Park, give way. When you give way, you allow other people to drive. To drive, probably you get to a junction, you have to give way to the other driver. Collide, when a vehicle collides with another one, crashing. Some other words include driver's license. Driver's license, yes, but you can also have driving license. Depending on if you are talking about the American form or the British form or driver's test. You have insurance certificate, you have vehicle license, you have traffic, you have traffic jam, you have traffic hold up, traffic lights, road sign, collision, accident, and so on and so on. You can also find out more about the parts of a vehicle, and it's very easy. You can approach any mechanic or something to tell you some of that parts. You'll be familiar with all these simple parts of the something. Now let's look at some exercises. Exercises on this this transportation. Again, I told you before that these exercises are taken from the New Oxford Secondary English course, pages 58 to 59. I've just put it on the something for you, taken from this book. Let's look at, choose the best word to complete each of the sentences. When there are people on a dash, all vehicles must stop. On the what? On the what? Are people on the what? That are pedestrian crossing. All vehicles must do what? They must stop, so that you will allow all those pedestrians to cross. You call it pedestrian crossing. We do it. That's the correct one. Pedestrian crossing. We use it. We have it on roads here and there, where you have the white and the something just across the something, so that you can allow those who are walking on foot, those who are pedestrian, we call them pedestrian, to cross the road. A driver uses the dash to stop his vehicle. What does he use to do? Does he use an accelerator? Indeed, he cannot use that. Use a radiator? No. Is it the ignition? No. Is it gears? No. It is the brakes that he uses to stop the. He applies the brakes. That's the correct register. All drivers must obey a traffic warden's what? What is what? What is what? Signal. He gives you signal. Then you stop. A driver must always be ready to show what? This chassis. This is chassis, not chassis. Chassis. No. A driving license. It can be a driver's license too, depending on whether we are talking about the British or the American system. Then you have bonnet, of course, you have gears, and you have test. Remember we said this is not gear, it is what? Gears. Now let's look at the next one. Now look at number 5. Traffic on a minor road must always give way to traffic on a major road. Talk about traffic on a minor road, traffic on a major road. Traffic on a minor road must always give way to traffic on a major road at what? Where do you have it? At a junction. Where you have the junction. So, must always give way. 6. The motorist forgot to dash the direction he was going and so had an accident. To do what? To indicate the direction. He didn't route. To indicate the direction he was going, and so he had an accident. Number 7, the car had a dash with an oncoming vehicle. What? What did it have? A head-on collision, not collusion. That's the answer. The collusion is to collude, to agree together to do something. That is collusion. And slide, and brush, and brace. That cannot be the answer. Then he had an accident because of what? Acceleration? No. Because of brake? No. Because of speeding. He was speeding. Remember we said there is no over speeding. Don't forget. It's always speeding. Right. Let's look at 2 other things. As the policeman wanted to look at the engine number, he asked the driver to open his. What does he open? What does he open? One, the front one. It is the bonnet. The bonnet. He opens the bonnet so that the policeman can see the number of the engine. Number 10. The car was overheating. You don't notice that all the water in the dash had leaked. In the what? Where do you have the water in a car? It's always in the radiator. Radiator. So that is the answer for that one. Radiator. Not in the carburetor. Not in the engine. You don't put water in the engine. You put water in the boots. You don't put water in the. So it's overheating. Therefore, the water should be in the radiator. Right. Now we want to look at a few of the patterns that we usually have at the Becker examination level, the patterns. But this one, the next one we are going to look at are some of the things that have been taken from Becker, from the basic education certificate examination questions. So we have section B, usually section B in the Becker examination questions, and it is titled Vocabulary Development. That's how it is. And that's, I told you, these are samples from the Beck exams. Complete of the following questions with the most appropriate of the options lettered A to E. Now, one, this is on family system now, which we have in family. We have in New Oxford Second English book for junior secondary school. One, you have that on family on page family on page family on page 4, pages 4 and 5 of this New Oxford something. So you can, part of them. My twin sister's son, who is my dash, will visit us. And who is your, what was the name of your twin sister's son? My twin sister's son is my what? My nephew. My nephew. No, sorry, my nephew. The son is the nephew. If it's a girl, then it should be the niece. But it's the son, how it is the nephew. Right. Then number 2, the doctor dashed the patient to find out his state of fitness. Now, what did he do? Not checked. That's not the correct word. Interrogated. He will not inspected. No, that's not interrogated. Of course, he will ask questions, but it's not interrogation. It will be examined. That's the word. He examined. He examined to find out the state of fitness. 3, I heard about the chief's coronation while listening to the dash on the radio. What do you listen on the radio? Of course, you know that you listen to news on the radio. The news on the radio. Marx, the business tycoon, obtained dash from the bank to expand his business. What does he obtain from the bank? It is a loan, not so. The loan from the bank. 5, the driver dashed his headlight for proper vision. What did he do for the head? We were talking about the headlight. You remember, we talked about the headlight in the last chart that we had. What did he do? He dipped, not dimmed. Many of us are used to dimmed. Dim your light. No, it is dimmed. So this is not right. It is dip. You dip your light. You dip the light. So he dipped the light. The driver dipped his headlight for proper vision. And to dip it is to make it less bright. When it's full light, that's very, very bright indeed. And therefore, you have to dip it to make it less bright. The next one, the students were encouraged to dash their cultural heritage. To do what? To do what? What do they do to cultural heritage so that it does not die out, it does just go out in that form? They were encouraged to preserve. You preserve cultural heritage. To do what? To preserve your cultural heritage. Now let's look at another one. Number 7, this is on politics now. Remember we did something about politics in one of our registers on politics in one of our programs too. The political parties dashed their campaign last week. What did they do? They flagged off their campaign. To start it, that is the flagging off. They don't inaugurate, they flagged off. That's to start something, that's to flag off. Right? Then the next one, number 8, I paid a visit to a friend of mine that was bereaved last week. What is that type of visit? We talk about condolence visit. Condolence visit. Right. The next one is number 9. The dog was sent back to his dash when it came out barking. What is the place where you keep dogs? It's not a cage. It's not a house. It's not a hole. It's not a stable. It is a kennel. What is it called? Kennel. That's the appropriate answer for that. That's where the dogs are kept, on kennel. Number 10, the dentist attended to patients that had dash problems. Again, this registers on medicine now, on health, right? Dentist attended to patients that had dash problem. What problem? Bone, brain, ear, eye. What does a dentist do? He attends to teeth. Dentist, teeth. We have another one. After the death of her husband, the dash received her rightful inheritance without delay. Well, of course, somebody whose husband is dead, a woman whose husband is dead is a what? A widow. What about the man whose wife is dead? He is a widower, which we have in E. So, but we are talking about the widow now, the woman. Number 12, Bola visited a dash when she had a tooth. A what? A dentist. A dentist, we have come across that before too. Because she had a toothache, to go to a dentist. A pediatrician is somebody who attends to diseases of children. A pharmacist, of course, a pharmacist is somebody that deals with drugs. A physiotherapist is the one that actually would attend to people to do some exercises after when they are recuperating. And a surgeon is somebody that performs an operation. Now, number 13, the customer entered the banking hall when the ATM could not dash cash. What does the ATM do? When you go to the ATM, what do? You put your ATM, when you go to the machine, put your ATM card there. What does the ATM do? We say it dispenses cash. So that is the word, dispense. So the ATM could not dispense cash. That is the appropriate register for that one. Number 14, there was a rash of yellow fever in the community. And what? Can it be an affliction? No, not affliction. It not be an attack? No, an attack of yellow fever, you don't say that. An influx of yellow fever, you don't say that. But to talk about an outbreak, that is the correct register, the correct vocabulary for that type of thing. Outbreak. Outburst cannot be outburst. Number 15, you have Ali was seriously injured in the accident and was immediately rushed to the dash unit of the hospital. Where do you rush accident victims to? You rush them to the emergency unit. Also, emergency unit. That's the correct place. That's again registered dealing with medicine, which you have. Well, all these things you have in the New York 4-second link source books 1, 2, 3, which have been done. The driver paid a dash for violating traffic law. What did he pay? He will pay what? Will he pay a bill? Is it a fee? Is it a levy? A tax? He will pay a fine. Not so? A fine. Then 17, the secretary read the dash of the previous meeting. The what? The agenda, the events, records, reports. No, it should be what? The minutes. Don't forget that minutes is plural. That way you cannot say you will say the minutes were read, not the minutes were read. It's always minutes in the plural. The minutes were read. So we read the minutes. Number 18, the party's dash was presented to the electorate. Parties what? Parties what? Parties what? Parties what? Can it be policy? Can it be program? Can it be record? It is the manifesto. Party's manifesto. Okay? Manifesto. Okay, I've repeated number 18, number 19. So the same manifesto we have there. Manifesto. Party's manifesto. In other words, manifesto, the program of action that a political party wants to implement, want to carry out when they actually are voted into power. That is the manifesto. We want to have free education, want to have a free health, want to have free thing, want to have everything free, all right? That is the manifesto of the political party when they get into power. Right. The next one, number 20, the dash gave my father a receipt. I didn't get it. That spelling of receipt. My spelling of receipt is not quite good enough. Should be with the E here. Receipt. All right. The father gave that gave my father a receipt after paying my school fees. Who gives fees? Who gives receipts? That is the bursar, not the counselor, not the principal, not any other one, but the bursar of the institution. Right. Right. Let's go on to another one. The son of my sister is coming home for Christmas. Again, we have come across that before. The son of my sister is my what? My nephew again. Nephew. My nephew. The 22. The dash in the prison complained that the condition of the prison was becoming unbearable. The what? Talk about what? The criminals. We don't call them criminals yet. And you talk about detainees, robbers, suspects. No, it will be the inmates. the inmates. They may include suspect, they may include as accused or something or criminal, but they are still the inmates of the hospital, inmates of the prison, inmates of prisons. 23, the temperature of the car was high because there was no water in the. We had to put water in the car. You remember we have come across that before, where we were dealing with parts of the car, and we had to put the water in the car. It is in the radiator, and also in the what? In the radiator. Right. Number 24, the painter fell from the dash while painting the house. From the what? Where did he fall from? From balcony? No. From the dome? No. From the rafter? No. From the roof? No. From where? The scaffolding. The scaffolding. Scaffolding are those things that are constructed in houses, where other painters or the maybe electrician too, where may be made of iron, maybe made of wood too. They step into they climb it and then they do their work on the building. That is scaffolding, right? Number 25, there is going to be a dash election in the constituent to replace the deceased member of the house. I didn't put the options here. Actually, it will be a by-election. The correct answer will be a by-election. Let me write it here. A by-election. Talk about a by-election. By-election. I forgot to write the options here. Pardon me. It will be a by-election. Then you have citizens should always pay their dash to enable government provide social amenities for them. What do they pay? What do citizens pay? What should they pay to enable government to provide amenities for citizens? That is they should be paid what? Tax. Tax. They don't pay bills. You can pay electricity bill, but you pay tax to government to enable them provide social amenities. Right. Having been in prison severally, Jack can be described as a what? Somebody who has been in prison probably almost every time is referred to as a what? Is it a conspirator? No. It could be a jailbird. A what? A jailbird. He's been in prison several times. So he can be described as a jail. Number 28. The doctor said I should consult a dash to advise me on the right food to eat. Who advises you on the right food to eat? The chef? No, chef is the one that prepares food in the kitchen. Cook, of course, again, herbalist? No, not herbalist. Somebody prepares. Then nurse, not the nurse. It is dietitian. The one that specializes in diets, the right type of food that you will eat. They call them dietitian. They would say, okay, you must eat fruits, you must eat this one, you must eat this one, you must not eat sugar, you must not. Those are dietitians. So I should consult a dietitian. That is the right answer there. Dietitian. My aunt did not get married. She died as a what? First, you should know that very easily. Aunt, not a bachelor, not a bride, not a partner. Should be a what? She died as a spinster. She did not get married at all. She died as a spinster. Let's look at some other ones. Apart from this one, I have another one here. In complete each of the following questions with the most appropriate of the options A letter D to E. The council of elders was present at the dash of the new king. What do you do with a new king? Is the coronation. Coronation of what? The new king. Coronation, when they are given the bead, the what is it called? The crown, what they wear. 2, Nigeria is rich in solid what? Solid what? What talk about solid what? Solid bitumen? No. Solid block? No. Solid mines? No. Not solid minerals. Talk about solid minerals. Solid minerals. Rich in when you have including bitumen, including so many other things, diamond, gold. Those are solid minerals. Number 3, it's advisable to dash money. Dash the bank for safekeeping. Now, look at this one now. Do you keep money with the bank for that is not actually the right register. And you cannot say withdraw money from the bank because you have to read the whole thing to the very end. You can't withdraw money for safekeeping. That's why this one will not be right. You can withdraw money from the bank, but not for safekeeping. That's why it's only A that be right. Deposit money in the bank for safekeeping. You can see that these are options, but they may appear to be very, very right to you. But this withdraw from you withdraw money from bank, but it's not for safekeeping. Because whatever you withdraw, you are not saving it. You are not saving it. Right. Number 4, as an advertiser, I always decide on the most suitable medium to reach my target. Target what? Talk about target what? Target audience. The people you are manufacturing or you are advertising the products to, the people. That's target audience. Probably you are interested in powder. Your target audience will be the ladies that will use. And probably you have in some other things. Target audience will be in ties. Probably target will be the men, and so that's the target audience. Now the next one, number 5, the dash that's used to supply newspapers to our office has left the town. Who supplies newspapers? Is it the dealer? Is it the editor? No, of course not. The printer? No. Trader? No. The proper word is what? The vendor. The vendor. Vendor supplies it. Although you can use vendor in some other situations too. Probably you talk about somebody selling a piece of land, it's also a vendor. But this, you talk about newspaper vendors. Right. 6, the current law on human trafficking was dashed by the 8th National Assembly. Human trafficking, you know human trafficking? When they actually traffic, they take some children or people from one country to another, or from one place to another, and even within the same country, which actually is against the law. That is human trafficking. And so it is, the law was enacted. Talk about enacting a law. Enacting a law, it was enacted. Not annulled. Annulled, it means cancelled, not composed, not created, not imposed. The appropriate word is enacted. Right. Number 7, the hospital dash is now stocked with enough drugs. Hospital what? Is it ambulance? You store drugs in ambulance? No. Laboratory? No. Theater? No. Ward? No. It is the pharmacy. Take note that thing is pharmacy, not pharmacy. Usually mispronounce that word. It's pharmacy. You can check in your dictionary. Pharmacy. The hospital pharmacy now stocked with enough drugs. Number 8, the insurance company paid him a dash of 1 million naira for the loss of his car. A what? Paid him a what? Is it bonus? No, it's not that bonus. It doesn't pay discount, doesn't pay dividend. It's compensation. Number 9, most books kept on the dash in the library are foreign. In the library you have catalogs in the library, quite all right. You can have cupboards in the library, you can have drawers, but those are not the proper words. It is the shelves. Shelves. Talk about shelves in the library. Number 10, Mr. Williams' dash was written by his friend. His what? Dash was written by his friend. His biography. 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 When you talk about autobiography, the one that you write yourself, if it's your own story you write yourself, is your autobiography. You are the author. You yourself are the author of that story of your life. That is the autobiography. But when somebody else writes a thing for you or for another person, it is biography. It is what? Biography. The one you write of yourself is what? Autobiography. Now the next one is number 11. The judge died the case for lack of merit. Number 11. What did he do? He did what? It cannot be adjourned. It cannot be annulled. It cannot be cancelled. It will be dismissed the case. It was dismissed. Dismissed. Because if you adjourn, it means you want to reconvene. You want to come to reconvene again, or reconvene, not reconvene again. Reconvene. When you have you don't use again. You want to reconvene. Annulled, you cancel it. Cancel. So The correct register will be the dismissed. Number 12, poetry is the most interesting of the three dash of literature. Talk about genres of literature, aspect. You have poetry, you have drama, you have drama, poetry, you have some other ones. Number 13, the plane dash along the runway before taking off. Now we came across some of these things in the Nozek book 1, book 2 that we were considering the other time. You can still remember. The plane dash along the runway before taking off. What did he do? Did he run? Did he speed? Did he wheel? Did he cruise? Taxiing along the runway. When it's for takeoff, before takeoff, just move and move. Then it will take off. That is taxiing. You know, if it is taxiing, don't forget it has double I. The plane is taxiing, but the past tense is taxied. Right. Number 14. John bought some kitchen dash recently. Kitchen what? Kitchen. The appropriate word is actually utensils, which is E. Kitchen utensils. And the appropriate word. Even though you can have equipment, the appropriate word has to be utensils that you use in the kitchen. Number 15, the dash rights of any citizen should not be infringed upon. The what? The fundamental rights. You talk about fundamental rights. Fundamental rights of citizens. Only citizen should not be infringed upon. Then you have number 16. A dash of people gathered at the accident scene. A what? It can be a colony. It will be a crowd of people. A crowd of people. Many people there. Then 17. The boy who is a drug dash died after an overdose. A drug what? A drug, not peddler, not specialist, not hospital. To be a drug addict. Addict, somebody who takes something in excess, more than normal. When probably even if you drink any of these soft drinks, I won't mention any brand, any of these soft drinks in excess, you're an addict. If you cannot do without it, today I cannot do without this soft drink, tomorrow I cannot do, you have become an addict. So also, somebody who takes drugs every time, cannot do without drugs, is an addict, a drug addict. A drug what? A drug addict. Now you have some other ones, yeah? I don't often travel by air because the cost of what? Of flying is very high. Flying. Number 19. Having served an organization meritoriously for 35 years, Mrs. Mohammed will be doing what next month? Will be retiring. That is the appropriate word. He will retire from work. Not stop from work, he will be retiring from work. 20. The bank manager asked the man to provide A or an dash before he could access the loan. What do they provide before they are giving loans? It is not the check, not the interest, but the collateral. Something that can stand so that when probably somebody defaults, they will sell that private property to recover the loan. Politicians often ignore opinion dash. Talk about opinion what? Opinion polls. These are conducted probably before the elections are come. They say by some people, maybe by newspapers, they call them opinion polls, which may not actually matter in the end. 22. Adamu has no parents, so he is what? But you know that easily. He has no parents. Somebody who has no parents is what? An orphan. Orphan. So these are very simple things which you are supposed to know. And if you know it, I told you these are samples from Becker questions. Number 23. To avoid air pollution, the Dash has advised against bush burning. Who can it be? Can it be a neurologist? No. Neurologist? A psychiatrist? No. Psychologist? No. Ophthalmologist? No. It is the environmentalist. The one that deals with the environment. Environmentalist. Advising against bush burning. Then number 24 is that the moon bought fresh meat at the what? Where do you buy meat? Cannot be at the cafeteria, cannot be canteen, cannot be restaurant, cannot be at the abattoir. Abattoir. What? Abattoir. Then number 25, the laborers were provided with the necessary farm what? Farm what? Farm equipment. Farm equipment. Farm equipment. Farm what? Equipment. Then the last one now, the accused person was dashed in prison. What do you do to an accused person? Will be detained? No. Detained will not be the proper word. Punished? Not be the proper word. Reprimanded? Not what? Tried? The proper word. He was remanded in prison. He was asked to be in prison until probably the case will be decided. Okay. So these are just a few ones we have just looked at in this series. That's to show you that if you actually pay attention to it and you actually go through the exercises in the books in this series, books 1, 2, 3 of New Oxford Second English course for junior secondary school, so sure that we come across many of these things in there, and therefore you can do very well in the section on vocabulary development, and therefore you have to interact with people, with road transport, air transport, farming, building, so many other things, very simple things around your environment, and to be able to answer questions on this one. Thank you very much for listening to me today. Until I come your way again, it's bye.